sharing, don't stop laughing, don't stop caring. As long as you've got a voice, don't ever stop.
Oh, that's right. As long as you've got a voice, don't stop talking. And I won't stop talking till my very last breath right here on WCRS Radio. Well, it was a very big accomplishment, I'm going to say, by City of Greenwood and our city attorney, decided back earlier in the year, I don't exactly remember when, it was suggested at a city council meeting that we needed a hate crime ordinance here in Greenwood. And there, South Carolina is one of 2 states that does not have a hate crime ordinance. And there are reasons why, and I guess the other powers that be, the people that thought that a hate crime ordinance would help our state, have been out there advocating at different communities across the state. So since I don't know exactly how long, but since at least the first of the year, there have been, I believe it is 22 municipalities and 2 counties have come forth, and this is from the Municipal Association of South Carolina, list 22 cities and towns with local hate crime, often hate intimidation ordinances. Counties with ordinances. Richland has put one up in June or July of 2025 that got approved. Orangeburg just put one up that got approved August 2025. But the full list, per the Municipal Association of South Carolina, Arcadia Lakes, Beaufort, Bluffton, Camden, Casey, Columbia, Conway, Charleston, Chester, Clemson, Florence, Georgetown, Greenville, Hardyville, Irmo, Isle of Palms, Lake City, Mount Pleasant, Myrtle Beach, North Charleston, Somerville, and Welford. Counties were Richland County was the first county to adopt the misdemeanor penalties of up to $500 and or 30 days. Final approval was this year in June, with it being fully enacted in July 10th of this year. Orangeburg is the second county to do it, and they actually just did final approval back August 18th, 19th of this year. Well, Trip Paget, city attorney for Greenwood, decided to, since that had come up here, that we, the city of Greenwood, should know what our options and how it would impact us versus the state. And this actually was, of all the counties out there, you would actually think that some of these other counties, municipalities would do this, but they did not. Now, back, what was it? What month is this, Ann? I don't know. I think it was 3 or 4 months ago, I actually asked, when I had Attorney General Alan Wilson on the air, about this ordinance, and he gave an opinion, but it wasn't a firm opinion because he had nothing in front of him to compare it to or anything else. Well, Friday, they issued an official opinion, and that is something that I guess is on their website now. In fact, any opinion you can go back and read. But the South Carolina Attorney General's office opined that local hate crime ordinances could likely be struck down by the South Carolina Supreme Court, free speech and preemption concerns, emphasizing they remain valid, unless or until a court says otherwise. So that's it in a nutshell. That's it in a nutshell. So since there is not a state law, since there is not a state law on this, and the only one that can actually make laws is your legislative body. Bottom line, local hate crime ordinances are at risk of being struck down by the South Carolina Supreme Court. The opinion is advisory, not binding, but flags likely legal problems. Uniformity preemptions. The AG, Attorney General, and that is Alan Wilson at this time, argues the South Carolina Constitution requires uniform statewide criminal law, so cities and counties lack authority to create new criminal offenses or penalty enhancements, which is what the hate crime ordinances did. They were penalty enhancements. It is the General Assembly. If they have not enacted it, then a county or a city cannot have it. First Amendment concerns. Because these ordinances hinge on bias-based motive, they may burden protected speech or be content-based, which invites constitutional challenge. So there is it in a nutshell. It also says, and this has been one of my questions all along, it creates patchwork problems. Municipal ordinances create a patchwork of crimes and penalties across the state. That's another reason Attorney General Alan Wilson says courts could invalidate them. And this is a point that appears explicitly in the written opinion. Still in force unless the court rules. The AG notes that local laws are presumed valid until a court says otherwise. And that opinion was issued based on South Carolina City of Greenwood's request from Tripp Padgett. So I think this is a pretty huge decision, and kind of answers why Greenwood held back on not just going ahead and doing this. Because the first time that this is challenged, it's going to invalidate all of these across the state. Now, what can be done? What can be done? If the people of the state of South Carolina feel that a hate crime ordinance is something we need to have, if it would make a difference in our criminal justice system here in South Carolina, then, then they need to advocate. They need to advocate for the fact that everyone needs to advocate for it with your representatives to pass this hate crime ordinance and make it, I guess, a law in our state, that could be enhanced penalties if somebody is convicted. The problem with a lot of this, and this is my personal opinion now, is isn't any crime a hate crime? I mean, truthfully, isn't it not a hate crime? If I shoot somebody, I probably hated them, right? Well, but anyways, that's a moot point for another day discussion. But the bottom line is that if it was challenged, all these hate crime ordinances across 22 county or municipalities and 2 counties could be struck down. So the only way to really see something be effective is for the people that feel that we need to have this is to go to their legislators and start pushing our legislatures. Now, of note, this has come up several times in the legislative body down there in Columbia, and it has not gone anywhere. those that wanted to see the hate crime ordinances impacted or passed in our state have thought that by going to all the counties that was a way around, or maybe a way to force the legislatures to make that decision. It looks like that the best way, if one wants to have a hate crime legislation, is to contact your local legislators who go to Columbia, your House of Representatives, your senators, and have them bring this up in the House and or Senate. It'll be interesting to see, with this opinion put out by Alan Wilson, the Attorney General, will that happen and how much support it will receive down there in Columbia. So just FYI. But I will say that I probably, I don't know this for sure, but with that opinion now on the books, number one, other areas that were considering doing this probably won't. And number two, I doubt if Greenwood will go ahead with that. But that's just a surmise on my part. I have no idea one way or the other what Greenwood or anybody else will do. But it is important to note. That these are important laws to get passed, and to make sure that they are put forth and that they are across the strait fair. That is one of the things that I think that is a little bit hard, to have one ordinance or law in one county or municipality, another in another. That just makes, as it says, a patchwork. So that's the Attorney General's opinion. You can read about it on their website, and all the information is right there. If you have any questions, go and check that out. But that is, I think they are always doing opinions because they're always being asked stuff. This just has taken a while for him to come up with an official opinion. But as I said, several months ago, I interviewed Attorney General Alan Wilson, and he said basically the same thing, although he did not have the information in front of him. So, 864-332-9355, 864-332-9355. What do you think about that, folks? What do you think? 864-332-9355. Do you think that we've had this discussion before, but should the state have, maybe that's a more important and impactful question right now, should the state have a hate crime law on the books, and should this be something that we should have on the books? All right, so that's that topic right there. That was a big one. That actually was a big one. All right, what else are we going to be talking about this morning? Well, we could say just a few words. I said a few words before we went live on the air. The relationship of President Trump and his ability to be the ultimate deal maker truly came across yesterday when all the hostages from Hamas came home. They have, of course, are working on the other 19 parts of this peace deal. That's the peace plan over there, and a lot of countries were there in mass. And from that standpoint, just getting that many people together is huge. So, and as I said earlier, to see the people hugging and so glad to see their loved ones that they thought they would never see again. I know that had to be part of the thought because so many of the hostages were killed, and I'm not really sure how many of the bodies have come back. I know I saw yesterday, and this was just a quick blip, and I didn't really investigate it any further, but that there was a flatbed truck bringing bodies back. But there is a question whether all the bodies will come back. So, but a great day for America, a great day for Israel, and maybe it is the beginning of another beginning over there in Israel and the Middle East. President Trump certainly has been the peace president. Whether you like him or hate him, he is doing things that nobody else has been able to do. So, you can't always understand the motive, but as President Trump said yesterday, that Marco Rubio will go down as the greatest Secretary of State, and he gave kudos to Steve Witkoff and compared him to, who was he comparing him to yesterday? Oh, God, it just went out of my brain. Anyways, one of the great negotiators, but he said whoever that great negotiator was, used to leak things, but not Steve Witkoff. He kept it to himself, and we can be nothing but proud about what happened. So, that's a little bit about what I wanted to share with you this morning. All right, so what else have we got here today? I had some other good stuff to talk about. Actually, not good stuff to talk about. We are having so many shootings. We had one in Greenwood where two people was over here close to Lander, had nothing to do with Lander, but two young people were evidently, it was maybe a drug deal that was going bad. I don't know whether there were two people trying to accomplish a drug deal and a third person came and tried to rob them. But the bottom line is two people were shot. One was, I believe, shot in the hand, the other in the shoulder. They both ended up at the emergency room. And I don't know, there may be more details out there. That's about what I had heard yesterday afternoon. So not serious from the standpoint of life-threatening, but certainly not good. All right, so that was that one. But when we look at all the shootings that went on in South Carolina, we talked a little bit about this yesterday. St. Helena Island down there in Beaufort County, Willie's Bar and Grill, 4 killed, 20 plus injured around 1 a.m. Sunday during an alumni gathering. Over in Anderson, Truth Bar and Grill, 2 killed, security guards, 3 injured early Sunday. Elsewhere in the South, Leland, Mississippi, downtown homecoming, 6 killed, dozens injured, multiple arrests announced. Dothan, Alabama, Wiregrass Commons Mall, 1 person shot Sunday afternoon. Suspects have been identified in that. Atlanta, Georgia, in the Buckhead area, officer-involved shooting late Saturday, 1 man killed. Charlotte, North Carolina, strip mall restaurant, 1 killed Sunday. You know, this is just getting out of hand. How many shootings and killings particularly on weekends. And then you add in what is happening with all the ICE, fighting back and forth whether ICE should be in a community like Chicago or Portland. Axios Weekend Wrap notes that U.S. has had nearly 340 mass shootings year to date as of October 11th. And with this weekend's violence in South Carolina and Mississippi, a major piece of the toll. So our country is out of control. And for that, I think it is very, very sad that we keep going through this. One of the things I wanted to discuss, this is just kind of in a fun note, was the naked parade or the naked protest, whatever, that they had out in Portland. It was World Naked Bike Ride. I had forgotten about this, but I want to discuss this. Who in their right mind would want to ride a bicycle naked? Surely that can't be comfortable. Plus, you need to worry about if you're out there for very long. Well, I forgot. In Portland, Oregon, I guess they don't have a lot of sun. So maybe that's not a problem. But the World Naked Bike Ride is a long-running Portland tradition. So they had this weekend's edition was an emergency protest ride. I don't know if you were watching any of Fox or any of the other sites that had it out there, but there were so many people riding naked, and the TV was trying to cover the bodies where the key parts were, that there wasn't much else to see. What they should have done, this is in my opinion, this is just in my opinion, had the whole top screen blocked out, and the only thing you saw was from the knee down, pedaling the bicycles. That would have been easier than what they were doing. Don't you agree? 864-332-9355 if you want to weigh in on that one. Having a little tea this morning. Having a little tea. All right. So why they ride. The usual reason that the bike riders have their World Naked Bike Ride, usually, is to protest independence on oil and the car culture, to highlight the cyclist safety and vulnerability on the roads. Yeah, if you go down and you're naked, you're going to get hurt, honey. Celebrate body positivity and community, as brave as you dare. Either that, or you just don't give a crap. Body positivity or I don't give a crap. What is it? I think it's I don't give a crap, because a lot of the people I see out there on the bicycles, they can't give a crap. Anyways, 864-332-9355. Yes, I'm having fun here this morning. Anybody want to weigh in on it? 864-332-9355. Let's see. I guess so. We got somebody weighing in here this morning. I love it when y'all share with me your opinions and everything, because it is what we are, what we're designed to do, to be social creatures. Let's see. I think you're nuts, Ann. I concur. Oh, let's see. What did somebody else see? I don't want to see myself naked. I certainly don't want everyone else to see me naked. See, there you go. See, so which is it? Body positivity, as the parade claims, or is it, if you're willing to ride a bicycle naked, I don't give a crap? I think they should call it I don't give a crap bike ride. There you go. I think that would be better. If you want to weigh in on this, 864-332-9355. Some days you just got to have a little levity, and this story provided for a little levity today. All right. Organizers called a last-minute protest ride efforts to deploy National Guard troops in Portland. Some were fully nude, pedaled to federal sites as a nonviolent demonstration. This WNBR is one of the biggest annual protest events. Thousands of riders, thousands of people were out there naked. Oh my God. I wonder how long the ride was. In 2025, Portland even had 2 summer rides. This one was an extra one. So they motivated the people at the end. Da-da-da-da! Everybody come out and ride naked today. All right, there you go. In 2020, they had two summarized. This one. Organizers note Oregon's public indecency law allows nude protest in this contest. So they even have a special carve out. Oh my God. They have a special carve out in Portland, Oregon for nude bike rides. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Let's see. We got somebody else. Safety first. Make sure you have your helmets and your knee pads, but heaven forbid wearing any clothes. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I mean, where is the sanity here? But if you put a helmet on, at least nobody would be able to recognize you unless they said, "Oh yeah, I know that body over there." Why do people do these things? Why? Okay. Let's see. So, body positivity. Do we have body positivity? Not many, that's for sure. Not for sure. Anyways, I thought that was a fun, light story as we look at all the problems that we're dealing with in our nation. I think it is more advisable to keep your clothes on, folks. Keep your clothes on. No naked bike riding. And I certainly hope the city of Greenwood will not take up an ordinance such as that for our city. We don't need any naked bike riding in Greenwood, South Carolina. All right, if they're looking for something, let's not do that one. Although it would be kind of fun if somebody went in front of city council and asked if they could put that ordinance in, wouldn't it? It's not going to be me, folks. Not going to be me. And what about, I wonder if they had any electric bicycles in that bike ride. Those things move pretty fast. You could get a real draft going with an electric bicycle. I just don't understand how you could even ride on a seat naked, but that's not for me to worry about. I'm just bringing it up as a point. All right, let's move on and talk about a few other things. We are in 14 days of the shutdown. They are going to pay the troops. Evidently, they found some odd billion dollar amount of money to be able to pay the troops. That will get them through another 2 weeks as each side, the Republicans and the Democrats, are dug in on this issue. It really, I'm just going to make a comment because I want to make a comment on it. Well, you, Ann, want to make a comment. Isn't that unbelievable? There is nothing to gain in having the government shut down. Maybe a day, right? Maybe a day just makes a statement. But when you get into 14 days, you are now really hurting the people of our country. I am a little tired of our legislative bodies, whether it's South Carolina or the federal body, of ignoring the needs of the people. They are more into what is right for my cause, not what is right for the people. So I do think it is terrible that this continues this way, and that adults should be in the room, adults should be negotiating this, but adults should be doing it with the government open and still have that clean CR. Simply said, everything remains the same. We need 6 weeks to finish this. Well, now, every day that goes by is putting them less likely in being able to come together on it because they won't have any time to work on it. Or will this now carry into, it was supposed to be till, I think, mid-November. Now will it carry into December? I am not sure. So, just another part of this crapola crap we deal with called the federal government. So, just thought I would pass that along to you. Today is Charlie Kirk's birthday, and today is there will be lots of getting together of groups across this country to remember and celebrate Charlie Kirk's life. Today at 4 p.m., President Trump is set to posthumously award Charlie Kirk the Presidential Medal of Freedom in the White House East Room. That is today at 4. It would have been his 32nd birthday. His wife, Erica Kirk, is slated to attend and accept the Presidential Medal of Freedom on Charlie Kirk's behalf at the White House. Multiple outlets have reported the plan last week and again this morning, so this should be going through. President Trump is back in the United States. I mean, he left on Sunday, came back on Monday. This is just a whirlwind, even having all the amenities that President Trump has on Air Force One, et cetera, et cetera. This is still grueling work that he is doing, and that he is capable of doing is amazing. They say that they expect family members and leadership from Turning Point USA, along with invited officials and allies. So that is what is going to be happening today at 4 o'clock. So that is a big deal. There is also all different places where they are having celebrations of remembering Charlie Kirk. Tonight, is it at 7, I think, a public vigil for Charlie Kirk at the Greenwood County Courthouse. There is a Regent University live stream at 4 p.m. and a Meet the Moment event in Vancouver. So there are events everywhere, 4 o'clock mainly. Showcase Club America is doing that in Vancouver. So, but we are supposed to be having one today at 7 o'clock at the courthouse, the Greenwood County Courthouse. So that's, for a lot of people, this has just been over a month. This is a hard to, and I think it's very, very cool that President Trump is giving him the Medal of Honor, So I just wanted to mention that because that is a really, really, really big deal. Really big deal. All right, what else is going on that we should talk about? We've talked about, we didn't really talk about on air Curtis Loftus yesterday afternoon. The South Carolina Treasurer, Curtis Loftus, sat down with me for about an hour right here with a pop-up interview. We did it live on Facebook. We did it live on the radio. I have heard from several people about what a good interview it was. Curtis is able to speak his mind and also tell you a lot of facts. And I think one of the things that he did very well was outline what actually happens down in our state government. One of the things that he said, you can't worry about the federal government. You need to be worried about your state government, your local government, your school boards. These are where things are happening. And, we hear that all the time from news sources, etc. But it's true. Local government is where it is at. And he said that's how important it is to him for people to be able to be involved. If you elect somebody, I thought this was another piece of excellent advice. If you vote for somebody, you should be responsible for making sure that they carry your voice, Meaning you should, when the opportunity, if there's a big vote or if there's a little vote, you should know what your legislatures are doing. Too many times, and I agree with him on this, big push to get somebody elected, and then what happens? Nothing. You go on about your life, you assume that they are doing what you want them to do. Well, quite often when somebody gets down there in Columbia or in Washington, D.C., they get influenced by things. And one of the things you would find very interesting about the interview yesterday is how much, I'll use the word graft, that goes on not only in our state government but on the national level. I'll give you one example. He talked about a story where a bank, and you'll have to go back and listen to the whole thing. He was at a big treasurers meeting. I believe it was in Washington, D.C. He'd been talking to this one treasurer, having a good conversation. I think they were maybe at two separate tables, or maybe they were sitting side by side. Anyways, this one bank came over and told the other treasurer sitting there, gave him a folded piece of paper. And what was in that folded piece of paper? Now, this was a bank giving this to him, a highfalutin official, he said, in the banking, gave this guy sitting next to him a folded piece of paper. The man opened up the folded piece of paper, and there was a credit card. A credit card. Now, the question is, had the man loaned his credit card to this bank president? Not likely. So what was the deal? And that was Curtis's question. What is the deal? He told another story about when he was trying to decide whether to run or not to run back in 2010. Curtis had been retired for 10 years, and that he was just getting ready to buy a villa over in Italy, and I've heard this story many times by Curtis, and he was just getting ready to buy a villa over there, and this came up about running for treasurer. And he asked how much it would cost, and it was just about the same as it would cost to buy the villa over there. So he decided to run. But the interesting part is when he was talking to some official, they told him that he could have both. And he was like, not really. And they said, yes, that can be arranged. So the graft that is going on down there. Now, we've heard this from our legislators about the amount of lobbyists and whatnot that are down there. But Curtis says the amount of money and the power that is in our government is astounding. So, don't look at how much money they're making. Look at how much money they're having the opportunity, money and power they're having the opportunity. We get into it in pretty good detail. So if you'd like to listen to it, that is on Facebook today, WCRS 98.5 FM /1450 AM. Or tomorrow, it should be up on WCRS1450am.net. That's our website. Lots of great interviews there. We've had some great interviews in the last 2 weeks. And we had a great time at Super Networking last Thursday. And there's a video of that too. We are constantly barraged by what is the right thing. Too many times when it gets to government, people lose their objectivity on what is the right thing. And doing the people's business should be a mantra that quite often turns into a way for other people to be able to expand or line their pockets. I think it's a far cry from what our government was supposed to be based on the original Constitution and Bill of Rights and all the Declaration of Independence, all of these documents put together. Years ago when I first started this job, this labor of love, Mike Huckabee was used to have a show on TV. And this was, I think, before he ran for president. That was in 2016, I think. And, the funny thing is, if you really look back over time, things may be more raw now than what they have been. But the same thing has been being said forever and ever. Because one of the ideas that Mike Huckabee had was we needed to move out of Washington, D.C. And he used to talk about that on his show. It was a good show. He interviewed politicians. He played the guitar. It was a good show. Anyways, but one of the things he said is that Washington, D.C. needed to move out of Washington, D.C. It needed to be a place that was brand new, separate, and everything else. Well, a lot of people scoffed at the idea. But when you look at how entrenched things are in Washington, D.C., and maybe we could make the case for how entrenched things are in Columbia, South Carolina, or any city that has a vibrant economy that has where their state legislature meets. He said they needed to move Washington, D.C. Now, his thought was, I think this was when Nashville got hit very hard by the floods. Then why didn't we just move it to Nashville, Tennessee? His thoughts were, number one, it was more centrally located than being all the way on the East Coast. Well, that's true. And they could pick and choose what they moved. I don't know whether you've noticed that, but right now in our federal government, they are moving certain things out of Washington, D.C. And I find that most interesting that here this was in, 12, 13, 14, somewhere in there, that this was a discussion about totally moving Washington, D.C., and what the effect would be on Washington, D.C. if you moved it. And could you legislate out the graft by having things more equal? Anyways, it's an interesting idea. Just like it's an interesting idea that everybody wants to go to Columbia and be in Columbia as legislatures. Maybe there's some truth to it. Maybe we should look at relocating and starting over. Oh, gad, Ann, that would be so expensive. Well, in truth, a lot more of what we do could be done through the internet. I am actually surprised that our legislators haven't started talking about the possibility of having more things connected that way through Zoom meetings or some special type meetings, rather than this free lunch that they get every day down there in Columbia. I understand. I'm going to go down this year and check it out. Every day, everybody can get a free lunch, a free breakfast, a free dinner, and that we have lobbyists down there trying to game the system and get their vote. You need to be talking to your legislators and saying, I put you in there, I expect certain things, and you're not doing what I thought you were going to be doing. That is a legitimate way to go about it. All right. What else do we have? That's just a little aside, but I think it's an important one to note. We forget about them once they go down. We also have a tendency to put all our emphasis on what's happening in Washington, D.C., when in truth, we need to be looking at what is happening right here in your own community, in your own state, in your own school boards. These are the things that are important. By the way, did you happen to see, I don't think I have it, and I don't think I can put it out here really quick, the code of conduct that they are requiring student athletes to have? What a concept, that they are held to a higher standard because they are having the privilege of being in the athletic department. Most interesting and good to see that some standards are being upheld. All right. Now, I do have just a few minutes left. Some people say I don't have any time left, but I do have a few minutes left. We want to talk about this Wednesday and Thursday. Empty Bowls is at the Ascend Gymnasium of the United Way of the Lakelands. That's at the United Way of the Lakelands Center, which is at 929 Phoenix Street. It is the 17th year of this event. For the Greenwood Soup Kitchen has Empty Bowls. It is a great event. It is a great event. Potters come together and contribute bowls, all these beautiful bowls. You get to, and also the woodworkers do it, and you get to pick out a bowl, whether you want a wooden bowl or whether you want a pottery bowl, and then they fill it up with delicious soup. So that is going on tomorrow and Thursday. So let's see what they have here. Members of the Greenwood Area Studio Potters and the Greenwood County Medical Alliance, they put on these 2 soup nights as a fundraiser. Proceeds help Greenwood Soup Kitchen feed the hungry. October 16th, which is Thursday, we'll welcome celebrity chef and Greenwood native Michael Siebert, who will have soup samples to taste and purchase. He is, of course, the owner of White Wine and Butter in Greer and has been a contestant on Guy's Grocery Games in 2023 and was a Food Network Chop Champion in 2025. He also was one of the 2024 South Carolina Chef Ambassadors. You can get your tickets for Empty Bowls at the Food Bank of the Lakelands, and they have certain seatings. So if you would like to do this, I highly recommend it. Lots of it has been made so they could expand the number of people that they were able to serve, has been changed into a to-go option. And so from that standpoint, that's been really good. They have on Wednesday, they had a 6 p.m. Seating for takeout only. And you do have to go at certain times to get in line to pick out your bowl. They have it very organized. So you can purchase at the Chamber of Commerce or at the food bank. Thursday the 16th at 6 p.m. are for sit-down only and are only available at the food bank. Tickets are $25 per person and $15 for children 12 and under. It's a great opportunity to support your soup kitchen. I always liked it when I used to go to this back in the day, was the fact that you actually sat at a big table with a group of people that you may not know, and you sat down and enjoyed a bowl of soup and some cornbread or biscuits, and it was always a very connubial type event, and I think that's what made it special. They certainly have expanded it. They certainly have raised a lot of money, which without the money would have crimped the way they were able to do things. And to all the volunteers who help day in and day out, 5 days a week, I don't know if they're still doing it 6 days a week or not, but 5 days a week they serve soup and sandwich to people in need. And anybody can go to the soup kitchen, and I understand, and I've had some of their soup. It's the best soup around. But if it wasn't for the volunteers who show up day in and day out to do this job, they would be very, very, very short-handed. So kudos to all who contribute to the soup kitchen. This is an opportunity to really put them over the top and help those in need. It's a total win-win situation. So that is going on Wednesday and Thursday of this week. Get out there, get your tickets, take your kids, go to this event. It is heartwarming. It is really heartwarming. All right, Thursday, 7 to 9 at the Inn on the Square. Greenwood Performing Arts invites you to All That Sex. Oh, I read it wrong. All That Sax. Saxophones, Ann. Saxophones. Oh, okay. Saxophones. We did an excellent interview last week with Stephen Galloway and Lisa Sanders, Greenwood Performing Arts. Stephen Galloway, of course, is a nationally well-known saxophonist, and they will be also with David Glimp will be there. They'll be bringing their whole band. They'll be jamming it out at the Inn on the Square. It's going to be cool, laid back. Tickets are $40. You do get an adult beverage ticket with that, and you are invited to come. It is Thursday, 7 to 9 at the Inn on the Square. Pope and Bert are the opening act, so that's a nice local act. It'll be tuning us up, and then they will take the air. Stephen Galloway, of course, had quite a relationship with Disney that made him quite successful. He was able to give up his day job, and not many people are able to say that. So congratulations. Hope to see you next Thursday at the show. And let's see, what else did I want to make sure that you knew about? They've got things all around outside the area. I wanted to make sure I got some of the local ones. Patriots Barbecue, free event next Thursday, honoring Lakeland's veterans and first responders. It is free Fat Daddy's food and live music. It is the 23rd of October, 5:30 to 7:30 at 5 o'clock. The Life Flight helicopter will be coming in for a landing, so if you want to see that, be there at 5. They start serving at 5:30. They have a guest list of unbelievable, and I'm not going to go through it other than to say that Congressman Sherry Biggs will be there, and this is pretty darn big. They have the Ware Shoals Marching Band is going to be there, the 96 First Baptist Church Choir. And so this is brought to you by the South Carolina delegation. John McCravey, Daniel Gibson, Senator Billy Garrett, they will all be there. If you want more information, you can check it out at patriotsbbq.org. That's patriotsbbq.org. I think this is the 6th year, I believe, that they have done it. Just keeps getting bigger and bigger. It is out at the farmers market, the old farmers market, right out there at the Greenwood County Recreational Center, I believe is what it's called. I don't know. Anyways, it's the old Wilbank Center, a.k.a. the old Civic Center location that now looks nothing like it is. They've done a great job with it, and lots of people are enjoying all the facilities out there. All right, so we've got that. We've got the Patriots Barbecue. We also have Care of the Piedmont is having a Veterans Day breakfast Friday, November 7th at 9 a.m., honoring all who served. That is at the Hospice Store, 217th North Creek Boulevard. And so that's going on. Also, on the 6th of November, over at Harris Baptist Church, they will be having a luncheon over there put on by Ashley House, and I understand it's going to be some good eats. It's always a good time, and they've had so much response to this, they've expanded it over there to Harris Baptist Church. I believe, I don't have the invitation in front of me, I believe it starts at 11:30. Also, keeping with our veterans theme for today, they're having the Valor Program, free legal clinic for veterans and spouses. This is Thursday, October 30th, 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the Greenwood Veterans Center. You do have to make an appointment. So they only will have so many people there, so many legal experts there. They will do basic will, living will, and power of attorney. So for Greenwood appointments, call the Greenwood County VA office, 864-450-9268. That's 864-450-9268. Is there another one? Well, there is one more thing. The Veterans Day Parade is going to be Sunday, November 9th. Rain date would be Sunday, November 16th. The parade is at 2 p.m. It will begin at South Main Street Baptist Church and proceed up Main Street, ending at Hampton Shopping Center. Show your support. Register your organization to march in the Veterans Day Parade. Call George Watson at 864-229-0726, 864-229-0726. Show your support from the sidelines. We're asking the entire Greenwood community to line the streets and cheer for our veterans. It certainly is well worth it to see the parade. So please come out and support, whether you want to be part of the parade or whether you would like to just be on the sidelines. Again, that is Sunday, November 9th. All right, guess what? This afternoon, I have a special guest. I have Daniel Gibson, South Carolina representative. He will be in studio with us. We'll be talking with him from 5 to 6 this afternoon. Hope you'll tune in for that this afternoon. So check that out. We'll be live on Facebook as well as live on the radio. That, my friends, is going to do it for me. I hope you enjoyed the show. Always love being part of the show with you and making sure that you know that I'm here for you. So, let's see. Is there anything else? Well. I will close with this. One of my wonderful texters just said, "And a dirty mind is a terrible thing to waste." And with that, I close the show. Have a great day. I love our new text line, 864-332-9355. Write it down. Contribute. If you've got a news tip or an event, please let me know. You can send me all that information. You can text it, but you also can call and leave a message. It converts it to a text. And just like this one here, and a dirty mind is a terrible thing to waste. That's going to do it for me. Oh, my God. Have a great day, everybody. Let's take it away. Bye-bye. Start the commercials. There we go. Lower the curtain. We're gone. Bye, everybody. Yes.
Keep on sharing.
The phones are open.
Keep on laughing.
Give us a call.
You gotta keep on caring. As long as you've got a voice.